yesterday's coffee.
It's another episode of the Chris and Steve Just Us Music Videos podcast.
Well, it's actually a very special podcast, our first live interview.
And it is a wonderful thing that we are very excited about our guest today. She is a musician who we have admired for years and years. She is a singer-songwriter who writes about everything from climate change to love, from
laundry on the line.
That's right. Harold, children's books characters, Hannibal, although not that Hannibal, the original Hannibal. The amazing and wonderful Cosy Sheridan.
Hi, Cosy.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. You don't know how important you are to my career as a songwriter, because I started back at Summer Songs, and I took your class, and the prompt that from your class about writing a letter to somebody brought me the kind of the new age of my songwriting, and I really thank you for that.
Yeah, he called home from that and said, "I found my people."
I remember you at that. I remember when you came. Yep. Yeah. That was fun to have you there.
Yeah. So, Cosy, you've been around for a bit. You won Kerrville songwriting competition in Telluride back in the day. It's an amazing thing. This was pre-social media. Can you tell us a little bit about how things started for you and how you got yourself out into the world before there was such a thing as Facebook or Instagram?
Yeah. So it used to be that you sent a cassette somewhere because you heard from a friend and you had it written on a piece of paper that there was this place you could go. Nobody had a website. There's just a phone you could call. And I'd been playing in the bars in New England. I heard the Michelle Shocked Campfire Tapes, the album. I think I remember what it's called. And they were recorded at Kerrville. So I heard about Kerrville. I sent a tape off. I drove blindly down to, Austin and asked where the address was for the ranch in Kerrville. And the way back then that once I met everybody at Kerrville, there was this book that was passed around. It was mimeographed, and it was all the gigs in the Western United States and then the Eastern United States. And it was about this thick of white paper. And you took the book home, you bought it from somebody, and you Xeroxed it off or something, and then you took it home, and you started calling people, and you set up a tour with your road atlas and your calendar, and you went off, and then we had little paper postcards that you would send out, and I had a California list and a Oregon list, and I would spend lots of time with postcards and stamps, putting the labels on and then the stamps, and I'd send off all these cards a month before the tour, and then I'd go off and do the tour. It was really a lot of physical labor. And then once you're on the road, you have to find a payphone to check your voicemail so you can figure out if anybody has called you back from any of the questions you asked. And if you're late for the gig, you have to find a payphone to stop and tell the person you're late for the show. But now you have to find a payphone, and now you're even later for the show. So in a lot of ways, the invention of the cell phone changed the life of a touring musician. The websites made a big difference too, but it's the cell phone that changed the life of a touring musician.
Wow, that's great perspective.
I'd never thought of that. I thought it was like social media was a big change, and then streaming was a big change. Of course, they were in the 2000s, right? Let's talk about those.
Those are later changes, but the biggest change is that you can carry your office in your phone, and you can do it in your car. It used to be all the booking had to happen in the hotel that night. You drove all day, and you couldn't get anything done because you didn't have a phone. You were just alone in the car. So for instance, I used to tour with my partner, T.R. Ritchie. He would drive, or I would drive, but the other person in the passenger seat couldn't get anything done. Now, when I'm on the road with my husband, Charlie, he drives, and I'm working, if I want, the whole time on my phone, setting up the tour, figuring out where we're going. I'm able to tell him where we're going. I don't have to find a piece of paper that said, well, this is where we're supposed to be going. The social media is such a later change that made the biggest difference is that you can contact people without having to be in your home.
Wow, yeah. I mean, it seems like the logistics of touring has really changed with that. But let's talk a little bit about the marketing aspects, getting the word out to people. I know that you were really a pioneer when it came to doing the Facebook streaming. And I'm just wondering if you can talk a little bit about how that got started, why you decided to take that tack.
Sure. I heard about, so when I was in Massachusetts when the lockdown happened, we just finished a tour in the West and Texas. In fact, as we were driving home, I remember somebody handed me a mask and said, my doctor gave me this thing. You might want to wear it on the plane. So we go home, the lockdown starts, and I hear that people are starting to do this thing on Facebook, I don't think we had the word live stream at that time. We just had Facebook Live. So they were doing Facebook Live. And I went and watched a few of them. And the funny thing is that I found it so distracting that people were typing and texting while this person's singing. And the person I'm watching is doing it, and his wife is responding to the text while he sings songs. So he's not even able to see the texting. And to me, it looks like playing a concert in a room where everybody's talking. However, I do eventually, and I say, I'm not going to do that. And then one morning, I just went down. It was 10:30 on a Tuesday, which is why I do it at 10:30 on Tuesdays. I turned on Facebook. I was in a terrible mood. The lockdown has happened. All my tours have crashed for the year. And I have my glasses on at the time, which was very unusual. I mean, I haven't really combed my hair. It's 10:30. I push live, and I sing a song at this thing that happens. I sing, I think, The Land of 10,000 Mothers, and I'm kind of cranky. And then a couple of people see that I'm there. And I realize I can talk to them because I can see the texting. So as opposed to the man whose wife is watching it, he's just singing into a microphone. I'm singing right at the camera. So I can see people talking to me as I sing. And that's what changed it for me. It made it into an interaction and an interesting thing from a disconnected event. So what makes the difference for me now is that when I do a live stream, I can see all my friends showing up. I happen to be good at dividing my brain, which is a problem in other parts of my life, but it's really useful that I can sing a song and read a text. And it means that when I do my show, I'm having a constant conversation with people. And that is why I've kept doing it.
So is there a value to your career of doing it? What is the value to you?
Well, that's an interesting question. And it would depend on where in my career I was when I answered that question. I've been doing this for 35 to 40 years now. And I have a lot of people around the country thinly, sparsely connected. There's 20 people in Omaha, and there's 35 people in Lincoln, and there's 100 people in Portland. So I can keep touring if I want, go play to all of them, but I can also just do one show every week, and they can all know that I'm there, and they can show up when they can. So for me, it's a way to keep the audience that I have finding me. It's a way that they can find me. They don't have to wait for me to tour out to their area to see me. If they really want to see me, they can just turn on Tuesday morning and see me there, or they can see it recorded. Is it a value to my career? It's sort of like anything in folk music. It's just another leg on the table. Oh yeah, I do live streams. Oh yeah, I have CDs. I teach. I go to conferences, those kind of things.
And you're rehearsing, you're getting positive feedback. There are all kinds of pieces that are important, I would think, to you as a musician, as a human.
Oh, yeah, the live stream keeps my chops up. Yeah, I'm performing every week. I'm getting my guitar out. And during the pandemic, it definitely kept my chops up. And now that I'm performing more, it's keeping me performing when I'm not on the road. It definitely keeps my muscles going. Yeah.
Speaking of your guitar and motioning to the side, is it right there?
It's right there.
Would you would you mind doing a little something? Because people need to see the way Cosy Sheridan. Well, first of all, we'd like to see your pick bag. Oh, it looks like it's improved. It's not a bag.
Well, it used to be a bag, and it might be a bag again, but recently I started using this because the bag, the little plastic bag got holes in it and things were falling out. So
well, after 5 years, even plastic's going to give out.
Yeah, everything can give out. Although I probably will go back to the plastic bag once I start doing live shows, a lot of them in a row. I haven't for a bit, and need to be able to look over in the bag and see what's in the bag without having to open the bag and look in it, which is... Even as I speak to you, I'm realizing that was the use of the bag. Yeah.
That's right. What are you going to play?
Well, would you like a whole song? Is that what you're looking for?
Sure. Love it.
We could. Is there a song you want? You guys can ask, or I can just choose something else. It's up to you.
Why don't you choose something that's kind of new? We haven't seen you in a year, so.
Okay, let's see.
By the
play
way,
you the new one.
Are you using the microphone that you use when you do your Facebook stuff?
So I bought this.
What
is
it?
a Audio Technica AT 2020. I have sold so many of these. I should be getting commissions because I tell everybody this is the simplest, best microphone. I can plug it straight into my computer if I wanted, but if I want to add my phone line, which I need to, for instance, then I need a little box, which you plug the microphone into this and this into your computer. This box that I have right now is suboptimal because I can't put my phone line in it. For instance, I just did my live stream just on Wi-Fi, which is not a good idea. You want to be hardwired in. But I've used this microphone since I bought it in March, and my audio engineer suggested, he said, get this little thing called an AT 2020, and they're affordable. They're under $100. They come with a little stand, which is really useful, because having a microphone stand can be a hassle, but you put that on a table. So I'll do this song. This is new. This is called I'm Feeling Like Seattle When All It Does Is Rain. Here's where I grew, and when the house was new, every floor was solid, every angle was true. But the truth moves on, and that solid is gone, and this door won't close. It's got character now, you might say, as the colors fade, and in truth I like old stuff that has seen better days. Here's what the metaphor means. I've got a porch that leans, and this door won't close. And I'm feeling like Seattle when all it does is rain. The weather in this house warps the doors with pain. A little meditation and some do-re-mi make a charming home out of what is falling down around me. How do you pull through? What's your can of can-do? Somewhere in the back of a cupboard do you keep that cheeky attitude? How do you build yourself a nest between lost and found? I'm asking everyone I know, how did you learn to calm down? 'Cause I'm feeling like Seattle when all it does is rain. The weather in this house warps the doors with pain. A little meditation and some do-re-mi make a charming home out of what is falling down around me. If we return to the door, the initial metaphor, the reason I am singing this song for, 'cause I'm trying to fall in love with the door and how it's bending. It's the only way I know how to heal without mending. And I'm feeling like Seattle when all it does is rain. The weather in this house warps the doors with pain. A little meditation and some do-re-mi make a charming home out of what is falling down around me.
Oh,
Wonderful.
love that.
Wonderful.
Love that.
Thank you.
I just, let me ask a couple questions off that. These are behind the curtain questions too. How long did it take to write, and how many times have you practiced that before you'd play it out?
It took to write 3 or 4 months because I started it. It went through many different kinds of songs. When I teach songwriting, I talk about using other songs as templates. So that I tried that song as a minor swing tune. I tried it as a blues song, and it finally ended up sort of as a, John Gorka sort of singer-songwriter song. So that took 3 or 4 months. And before I could sing it out, not very long, because I played it for 3 or 4 months by the time I get to it. And so I think I played it on the live stream. I didn't do a great job with it. And that's part of the live stream is I started playing songs long before I used to try that. They used to have to be good enough to record, and now they need to be good enough for Tuesday. And that lowers your bar if you're a sort of a perfectionist songwriter like I was. And I had been killing a lot of songs with editing before the pandemic. And the pandemic was a really important time for me to learn, write this song this week and see how it goes. And just share it, and then you watch yourself, and instead of it sitting in the pot for a long time where I keep coming back to it and going, oh, I don't like that little spot, songs kept more life because I just sang them. And people went, wow. And so I kept them in that earlier form, whereas I, as a songwriter, often would have taken them much further in the editing process, which I think sometimes took some of the life out of them.
Well, and along that line, don't they evolve over time? I mean, do you find yourself tweaking, 2 months down the line saying, oh, well, maybe a different take on a line or two? 15
years down the line.
Yeah,
I've
sure.
recorded some songs and now I'm like, I like that bridge. Let's take it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's brave, but it's your song. You can do what you want with it.
Whatever you want. And who's going to tell me what I can and can't do?
Right.
Yeah.
You've done some music videos. Yes?
I have. Yep.
And
I did that before the pandemic. Yeah, I was trying that. Yep.
Okay, so I know we don't have a lot of time left, but tell us a little bit about your process. Have you done your own, or you bring in friends, or you bring in pros, or?
I bring in pros. I did some. Am I going to do some more? I don't know. It's very hard to look at your own face, especially in the editing process when you go like this. As they slowly take you there. I hated that part. I did it because I was looking at for a way to get my music out there, and it has to have a visual component now for people to listen. Will I do that again? I don't know. Might do something. I'm at a different stage where I'm not sure I want to jump up and down that hard online. And having done them and spent a lot of time on them, to also see that some of them have a 24-hour life, and then they're done. Mm-hmm. And that's difficult when you've put a lot of money and you've hired somebody to do a lot of editing, or you've hired them to do editing, and then you look at it and you go, whoa, that costs a lot of money, and I got to put that out, but it's actually not, So I'm not a visual. That's not what I started. I didn't start out because I wanted to make videos. I started out because I wanted to sing you a song standing in a corner of a bar or a club. It didn't ever occur to me what the visual component was going to be of any of my career, and that came in so much later that it's still something that I feel that I'm best live, and I feel that I'm best if I'm not worried about what the visuals are.
Yeah.
Right.
We're encouraging people who are starting or just want to get their music out in the world just to record themselves, not to make it a big production with a storyboard and a professional crew, but just sing the darn song. Right. And which is what you're doing live.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've done that. I've sung it into my video on my phone and posted it on my site. And some of those were my most successful because they're very intimate.
Advice to people who want to get their songs out, who are not touring musicians. Maybe they aspire to be, but they have something to say and they want the world to hear it. You have any social media-esque advice?
I would turn on your phone and put it on video. You find a way to put it in front of yourself so that's looking at it so you can see it. You do it 5 times. You take the best one and you put it on your Facebook page. I mean, that's really all that I'm doing. I'm not somebody who's moved off into TikTok. I'm not trying to put my stuff on. I have an Instagram page, but it's just because my brother told me I should. My people find me if they want to. And so my recommendation to people is to figure out, where are your friends? Are your friends on Instagram? Use that. Are your friends on TikTok? Use that. Are all your relatives on WhatsApp? Use that. My people have found me and so I stay here. There's a certain learning curve, and don't put all your creative energy into the learning curve of the technology. Let the art be what you mostly learn.
Good advice.
We love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just want to do a plug for Moab Folk Camp. That is one of our centers of our year. It happens every October, at the end of October in Moab, that Cosy puts on.
Yeah, moabfolkcamp.com. Right.
.com, that's right. And you guys are part of my staff. We have to have you.
Yeah. So what are the dates this year, just so people may...
October 26th through November 1.
Great.
And there's still probably 10 or so spaces left.
Great.
Thank you, Cosy, so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This has been really fun.
Thank you, Cosy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yesterday's coffee, last piece of bread. Can't let success go to my head, 'cause I got everything I need. 'Cause I got you.